90% of startups fail. And according to CB Insights, the number one reason isn't lack of funding or bad timing. It's building products nobody wants. We're talking about 60 billion wasted every year on failed startups alone. Why does this happen? Because most founders, entrepreneurs, and product leaders are terrible at validation. They fall in love with their ideas instead of falling in love with their customer problems. They build first and ask questions later. They confuse opinions with data and assume their gut instincts represent market reality. Hi, my name is Anil Jaising. I'm an entrepreneur, a founder of Concepts and Beyond, a Agile and product management training and consulting company. I'm also an adjunct professor at NYU, and I'm also a certified Scrum trainer with Scrum Alliance. Google killed over 200 products, including Google Plus, which cost them $585 million. Microsoft wrote off $7.6 billion on their Nokia acquisition. These aren't small mistakes. They are massive validation failures. In contrast, let's take the example of Airbnb. You're scrolling through Airbnb, looking for a place to stay. Two identical apartments pop up. Same location, same price, same amenities. But one has a blurry phone photos. The other has crisp, professional shots of your living space. Which one would you click? If you pick professional photos, you're not alone. Here's what most people don't know. That simple preference helped create $1 billion company. And the process they used to figure that out, that's the difference between good product managers, good entrepreneurs, and great ones. See, the difference between good founders, entrepreneurs, and product leaders, they're all terrible at validation. Most people think product management is about building features, writing specs, and managing timelines. But the best product managers think like scientists. They form hypotheses, run experiments, and let data guide their decisions. And no company demonstrates this better than Airbnb. See, Airbnb didn't start as the platform we know today. Back in 2007, two founders, Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia, were broke, struggling to pay rent in San Francisco. They had this crazy idea. What if people would pay to sleep on air mattresses in strangers' homes? But instead of building a massive platform right from the beginning, they started with the smallest possible test. Their initial hypothesis was simple. People would pay to stay in the stranger's home during sold-out events when hotels are unavailable. So during a design conference in San Francisco, when all hotels were booked, they put 3 air mattresses in their apartment and created a simple website. They offered breakfast and called it Air Bed and Breakfast. The result, all 3 air mattresses were rented. Guests were satisfied with the experience, and they made $1,000 in revenue over the weekend. They learned something crucial. People will overcome the trust barrier when they are desperate for accommodation, and the value proposition is clear. Now, most entrepreneurs would have gotten excited and immediately started building a huge platform. But Chesky and Gebbia made a strategic decision that separates good product managers from great ones. They asked, will this work beyond crisis situations and one-off events? So they built a simple website to test if people would book stays for regular travel, not just emergencies. They believed they could scale the concept beyond events by creating a platform for hosts and guests. The result was brutal. Extremely low booking rates, struggling to make just $200 per week. Both hosts and guests seem hesitant to engage. Something fundamental was preventing transactions from happening at scale. Most people would have pivoted immediately or given up entirely. But great product managers dig deeper when faced with failure. They made another hypothesis. By interviewing hosts and observing their listings directly, they could identify the primary barrier to bookings. So they literally went door to door in New York, talking to hosts and staying in their properties. What they discovered changed everything. Host photos were consistently poor quality, blurry, dark, taken with bad lighting, and did not showcase the spaces well. They realized that guests needed to visualize the space clearly before they trust staying there. And most hosts simply don't know how to take appealing photos. This insight led to their next hypothesis. Professional photos would increase booking rates. So they ran a controlled experiment. They hired professional photographers to reshoot listings in New York and compared the booking rates to identical properties with amateur photos. The results were staggering. Listings with professional photos got 2 to 3 times more bookings than those with amateur photos. In their New York pilot program alone, properties with professional photography saw doubled. But here's what separated Airbnb from other startups. They didn't just celebrate and move on. They formed another hypothesis. Offering free photography at scale would drive platform-wide growth. So they rolled out free professional photography services to host across multiple markets. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Hosts eagerly accepted this service, and booking rates increased consistently across all markets. When they analyzed the results across 100,000 plus listings, the numbers were even more compelling. Properties with professional photos generated 28% more bookings, commanded 26% higher nightly rates, and produced 40% more overall earnings for hosts. Enhanced listings became 2.5 times more likely to be booked, with hosts earning an average of $1,025 per month compared to just a few hundred for standard listings. The algorithm improvements based on these photo quality insights generated an additional 4% lift in booking conversion rates across the entire platform. But the real genius was in their final decision. They made high-quality photographs a core part of their host onboarding process and expanded the program to markets worldwide. They learned that investing in supply-side quality improvements created a flywheel effect for marketplace growth. This systematic, step-by-step approach to validation, starting with the air mattress and ending with the photography program, transformed their entire platform and turned a $1,000 weekend experiment into a company worth over $100 billion. Think about it. Every decision was driven by hypothesis. Every hypothesis was tested with real data. Every test informed the next decision. That's not luck. That's methodical product management. And this same validation framework works whether you're building the next Airbnb or just your neighborhood store, or just trying to figure out which feature to build next in your current company. The process is the same. Form a hypothesis, test it with the smallest possible environment, learn from the data, and then scale what works. The difference between Airbnb's success and thousands of failed startups isn't luck, timing, or even the idea itself. It's knowing how to validate ideas systematically, make data-driven decisions, and think strategically about user behavior at every single step. Most product managers, entrepreneurs, and founders learn this through years of expensive mistakes. But what if you could learn these validation techniques upfront, before you waste months building the wrong features or entire products nobody wants? I'm putting together a comprehensive course that teaches exactly these validation frameworks, the same methodical approach that helped Airbnb go from the air mattress to a global platform. That's revolutionized how people travel. But before I build this course, I need to validate it the right way. Just like Airbnb tested their air mattresses, then their website concept, then their photo quality theory, and finally their scaled photography program, I have created a detailed survey to understand exactly what challenges you're facing in product management, in being an entrepreneur, in being a founder, what validation techniques you're already using, and what skills would make the biggest impact on your career or your business. The survey takes less than 5 minutes to complete, and everyone who finishes it gets early access to the course materials when they're ready, plus a free validation framework template you can use immediately. But here's the thing, I'm only keeping this survey open for next week. After that, I'll be taking the insights and building the course based on what I learn. So if you want to influence what gets included and get early access, now's the time. The link is right in the description below. Help me build something that actually solves your problems, because that's what great product managers do. Validate first, build second, and always let the data guide your decisions. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Bye for now.